I'm Chris Lawrence with your top stories from North Texas. A huge shakeup for downtown Dallas and a major suburb. AT&T is moving its headquarters to Plano, the latest company to relocate there from Cinemark to Toyota, PepsiCo, and Bank of America. Dallas city leaders tell Tiffany Liu they're worried about what it means for the future.
They're a good corporate neighbor to have in downtown.
For nearly 2 decades, AT&T has been a staple in downtown Dallas.
We wanted them to stay in downtown.
But in a few years, the 37-story Whitaker Tower will no longer be their home.
They moved from San Antonio 17 years ago to come to downtown Dallas. At the time, they thought that was the best decision for the corporation. Now, a different CEO has made a different decision.
The telecommunications giant announced it is moving headquarters to Plano's Legacy Drive. AT&T wrote to employees this will cost-effectively consolidate all DFW Metroplex administrative spaces, including their 3 largest locations in central Dallas, Plano, and Irving.
This was an internal business decision rather than about conditions in downtown.
In a study commissioned by Downtown Dallas, Inc., it estimated the AT&T relocation could cause a 30% decrease in property values. The study shows there would be cascading effects on rental, retail, and other corporate exits.
Well, I think there's speculation.
AT&T currently sits in Dallas Councilman Paul Ridley's district. He says some of these concerns are overblown.
We're not dependent upon a single employer as a result of our diverse economy.
A UT Dallas professor and former city manager Ted Benavides agrees Dallas will still thrive.
If you're in economic development or planning, you got to be ready for these shots.
While one major company is leaving, city leaders emphasize the future convention center, plus more investment in Dallas College and the Bank of America Center. Goldman Sachs and other financial service companies are also moving in for the growth of Y'all Street.
It also probably gives you opportunities that you didn't have because AT&T was here. So, you have to go look at the bright side and say, okay, what opportunities do we have now that we didn't have before?
By the second half of 2028, AT&T's move to Plano will begin, and the future of downtown Dallas will pivot. In Dallas, I'm Tiffany Liu.
A butcher in Waxahachie has gone up in flames after just 3 months in business. A charred frame is all that's left of the Blind Pig, but neighbors tell Brittany Moncrief there's more to this story than meets the eye.
It didn't take long for speculation to settle on Water Street. Because 4:30 Monday morning,
got woken up by the Waxahachie Police Department.
Kayla Peppers and her family had to act quickly.
And I got my kids and everyone, and we ran out here, and it was just like engulfed in flames.
Kayla snapping these photos, and another resident sharing this video from a distance of the building next door.
The flames were already like to that tree. Very scared. I thought our house was gonna catch on fire too, but it didn't.
This is the Blind Pig Butchery, which officially opened back in October. The owners, who didn't want to speak on camera, tell us they bought the property back in 2023, which took over 2 years to fix up. And while ashes remain, the whispers on Water Street linger.
Probably one of the most haunted areas in Waxahachie for some reason.
See, the Blind Pig used to be the site of the Catfish Plantation, which Kayla says caught fire in 2003.
It's supposed to be one of the most haunted restaurants in Texas.
A quick YouTube search shows dozens of videos about paranormal activity and ghosts.
A lot of people say that if you're a woman and you're eating there, they would like to grab your hair.
And living next door,
I've heard my name before whenever it was just me and my children were at school. It's probably one of the craziest things that's happened, wow. Other than our doors being open. But
the doors will open sometimes too.
Yeah.
While some believe ghosts are to blame, the owners say they're still working to learn what caused this fire.
I'm just glad nobody was hurt or anything.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can rebuild it though.
Looking ahead, despite the mystery that stays. In Waxahachie, I'm Brittany Moncrief.
Dozens of people showed up to discuss the rainbow-colored steps of a historic church in Oak Lawn. As Luke Clary reports, there was debate over whether it violates Dallas City Code.
These steps are meant to send a message.
Who you are is beloved. You are seen and you are loved.
Reverend Rachel Griffin Allison says members of the Oak Lawn United Methodist Church see them as a source of neighborhood pride. But there was a problem. They applied the paint before applying for approval from the Dallas Landmark Commission, which has oversight on historic buildings like this one.
We felt like our time called for something more urgent, and so we did this knowing that we needed to seek this approval.
Calling this a temporary art installation,
those steps where I got married to my husband.
Church members came before the commission to make their case.
Rainbow steps shouldn't be controversial. It's just paint, y'all.
And we really, really, really hope you'll approve this.
The October paint job was a response to Governor Abbott's mandate that cities remove painted crosswalks. He called them a distraction.
We can't necessarily get our crosswalks back because of the state of Texas.
In the Reverend's view, it was about more than traffic.
Silence is not neutral. We have to choose to make a statement because this moment calls for it.
The outcome of the hearing was uncertain. City staff had recommended approval. A task force recommended denial, citing city code.
If you don't like rainbow steps on your church, then go to one of the 500 churches that don't have them.
But public comment was unanimous. And in the end, so was the commission. A unanimous vote approving the temporary art installation for 3 years. In Dallas, I'm Luke Clary.
Nicolas Maduro made his first appearance in an American courtroom today and pleaded not guilty to narco-terrorism. As Brittany Costello reports, while some Venezuelans in North Texas believe his arrest will lead to positive change, others are worried about the future.
And arepa is one of their more important dishes.
Code 58 serves Venezuelan food in Highland Village.
La arepa. Acá.
But tonight, owner Fernando Sabeda is making his famous arepas with something else on his mind. Customer Mayela Garcia Parra helped us translate. Sabeda says he grew up in Venezuela and 5 years ago moved to the United States for a better life.
Creo que la situación política.
He said because of the political situation that had been happening.
He calls the capture of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro necessary.
Que logre recuperarse de.
The country needs order and respect and to hopefully go back to how it was.
That could take time, something that worries president of LULAC 100 in Dallas, Rene Martinez.
Sure, Maduro has been removed, but the joy is it's a mixed joy in terms of what happens with the stability of that country.
LULAC is one of the oldest Latino civil rights organizations in the nation. For the last year, Martinez has been working with Venezuelan refugees, many of whom are worried about what this conflict means for them.
Martinez is asking the federal government to pause immigration action on Venezuelan refugees he says are here legally. Some are willing to go back with a regime change, but right now he says there's too much uncertainty.
But they know that there's a food crisis, and they're afraid that there's going to be more violence and more war.
Sabeda hopes for a better future for his home country.
Hay mucho trabajo por hacer.
There's a lot of work to do.
A future that allows him to go back home.
Cuando deje de estar ese gobierno allí,
When that government stops being there, that he will go back and be in Venezuela.
In Tarrant County, I'm Brittany Costello.
And we'll keep checking in with the community as this situation plays out. And those are your headlines from North Texas.